Hey everybody, welcome back for another edition of Pack a Day. Today is going to be a little different. It's the first time that I'm going to share some of my eBay finds with you, okay? I know what's in these and I'm really excited and I can't wait to open them up with you guys, okay? So let's get going. Alright, so something I've learned while on the hunt for vintage cards is to be careful and pay extra attention to the descriptions in whatever auction you're searching for, especially when you're buying non-graded cards. If you're buying graded cards, such as the Elston Howard here that I have on my screen, it's a little easier because obviously they've been graded, they have the label, you can look them up on the grader's website just to make sure that it's authentic, but you know what you're getting. If you're buying ungraded cards, the condition is kind of subjective. So in my experience, I've tried a few different vendors on eBay and I've run across 2 or 3 that I trust, that I know we have similar sense of quality of the card. And so I've just gotten to where I stick with those. I've got 2 envelopes today. The thicker one is from one of my preferred sellers. So I know what I'm getting in here is going to match up with what I'm expecting. The smaller one has a single card in it, and I've kind of gone off the range and I've ordered from someone I've never ordered before. And it's kind of an expensive card, at least for me. So I'm a little, anxious about it maybe, but we're going to start with the bigger package, okay? So my favorite design of vintage baseball card, or baseball card in general, is the 1963 Topps, which again is what this Elston Howard is. I love the design, I love the picture-in-picture, I love the vintage inks. I think the photography on that particular series of cards is one of the best of the older vintage series. So I've been slowly but surely building up that 63 set. I don't have a ton of them by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm getting there. One day, right? So let's see here. Who do we want to start with? I've got one that I'm going to hang on to towards the end because it's a little different. Take Elston down here. So let's start with Bo Belinsky. Bo's a pretty interesting character. He's a pitcher for the Angels. He pitched a no-hitter in his rookie season in 1962. Now back then the Angels played in Dodger Stadium, which had just opened up. And so his no-hitter is actually the first no-hitter thrown in Dodger Stadium. Not only that, it's the first no-hitter for the Angels franchise, period, because the Angels had only been around for, say, a year. What makes Bo interesting is that he absolutely soaked up that Southern California lifestyle from back in the 60s. He probably had more fun off the field than on, for sure. I've got his autobiography, or not his autobiography, I've got his biography saved on my Kindle. I've been meaning to read it. Because like I said, he has a lot of stories that I've read bits and pieces over the years about. So, Bo Belinsky, that's Topps 1963, card 33. This is Ray Herbert, card 560. And it says he was an all-star in 1962. So, good for you, Ray. All right, next up, we've got a name that you probably recognize, Tim McCarver. Now, you know him as a broadcaster, but back in the day, Tim was a catcher, and he played for the Cards in the late 60s, so that would have meant he probably picked up a couple of World Series rings with the Cardinals. And I want to say, actually, I've heard Tim mention on air, he hit the extra inning series-winning home run in one of those World Series victories. I think he's got 2 or 3 rings. I forget how many exactly. But yeah, he hit in extra innings the series-winning home run. So, like I said, after baseball, he went on. He's a broadcaster. Obviously, some controversial statements over the years. But Tim McCarver, card 394 from 1963. Here's another pitcher, Steve Barber, number 12. I just love the dynamic of that old ink and printing. So here is World Series card. This is card number 145. Now, the 1962 World Series would have been between the Yankees and the San Francisco Giants. The Yankees ended up winning that World Series in 7 games, but it was in a pretty dramatic fashion. If we want to get into Game 7 real quick, what had happened is the Yankees ended up winning the game 1-0, but bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, the Giants loaded the bases, I think, or at least 2 guys were on, and McCovey came up to the plate, and he hits this absolute rope of a line drive. And whoever was playing second base for the Yankees at the time, was it Richardson, made this incredible stabbing play to get the final out of the game. If you ever see it, it's just nuts. Anyway, Yankees won it, Game 7. This card is for Game 4, and it is for... it's for Chuck Hiller's Grand Slam from Game 4, which I want to say is the first World Series Grand Slam for a National League team. The Giants did win Game 4, by the way. 1963 card 46. This is Tommy Aaron. Now, this is Hank Aaron's younger brother. He played some first base and some outfield. Obviously did not have the career that Big Brother Hank did, but I'm not sure anybody could really live up to that. So Tommy and Hank were teammates on the Braves for a number of years. And after Tommy played, he went on to be a coach for the Braves. I think almost up until he died. He passed away back in the 80s of cancer. I forget exactly what year, but Tommy Aaron, Hank's younger brother. Okay, and surprise card from this particular envelope, not a 1963 Topps, a 1961 Ernie Banks. So I'm a huge Cubs fan. Mr. Cub here has a soft spot in my heart, very obviously. But Ernie was one of the all-time greats. He's the first National League player to win MVPs in back-to-back years, 58, 59. This is a 1961 card. 1961 is the season he moved from shortstop to first base due to an injury. Now, obviously, Ernie's in the Hall of Fame. He made it in on his first year of eligibility, which is something that's still relatively rare, right? But back then, it was even more so. I think he was like the 10th or 12th player to actually go in on their first chance. Keep in mind, guys like DiMaggio and I think Yogi Berra and Jimmy Fox, those guys weren't voted in their first year of eligibility, but Banks was, just barely, I want to say, actually. Interesting fact about Banks, when he was younger, he was an excellent basketball player, and when he was in the armed forces, he played with the Harlem Globetrotters. And that's all there was in that first envelope. Like I said, the second envelope is from a seller that I've never used before, and it's a bit of an expensive card, at least for me. And it's ungraded, so I'm really hoping that the description lines up. But I'm pretty excited. I've been looking for this card since this player passed away very recently. I decided I needed to add it to my collection before they were all bought up and prices skyrocketed. Packaging looks pretty solid here. So let us see what I pull out. Yeah, that looks pretty solid with the description. So what we have is card number 415 from 1963. That is Bob Gibson, who, like I said, did pass away earlier this month from cancer. Bob is undoubtedly one of the most intimidating pitchers to ever step on the field. He could fix you with a glare, whether you were the batter or really anybody. You could be his own teammate, and Bob would stare you down, and you would think, I got to get out of here. This guy's going to come after me. Interestingly enough, Bob said he never went out of his way to be intimidating, to be that type of player. That was just the way it was for him. And off the field, it was a totally different story. He was this very gentle, gregarious guy. Everybody should know the story about when Bob's catcher came out one time to the mound. So catcher comes out, and Bob looks at his own battery mate and says something like, "Why are you out here? You know nothing about pitching except that you can't hit it." So brutal. Bob's in the Hall of Fame. He won 2 Cy's, an MVP. He's got at least 2, maybe 3 World Series rings, over 3,000 career strikeouts. He threw a no-hitter. He was just an absolutely incredible athlete. He has a whole slew of gold gloves as well. Bob, one of the all-time greats, probably one of the top 10 pitchers in baseball ever, period. And that is card 415. And again, I just love the photography and the ink and the print job from this series. It just captures these players in such a fantastic way. And that is why I'm trying to put together the 63 set slowly. So I guess I'll see you guys back here for another episode, right? We'll be back into the 89 wax packs whenever the next episode goes live. And we'll see what we get from there. But I'm super excited to have finally been able to open up these 2 envelopes that I got off of eBay and be able to put them into my collection. I'll see you guys later, all right? I hope everybody's safe and happy. Later.